fam? Ryan Milton from TeamFFLEX. You're on my show, Iron Palace, where every single Tuesday I talk about everything regarding your training. We cover all different goals, all different types of people, and teaching you how to get results with your training. Today I want to talk about men's physique and training for men's physique, things you need to consider to actually get the physique for men's physique. Alright, we're going to talk about it all right here, but do me a favor real quick. First, subscribe to the channel and then share out this video if you get something out of it, because your men physique friends, they will need it. Alright, I'm Ryan Milton. You are on the Iron Palace. Alright, so men's physique, it is one of the most popular divisions right now in the men's side of competing. It took off, in the NPC, and it's going all the way through the IFBB, and I get questions all the time from men's physique competitors and people that are considering stepping into men's physique. So today I want to make this video kind of cover it for you guys. I do train a lot of men's physique, even men's physique pro, and so this will be a great beneficial video hopefully for anybody out there who's considering doing it or also getting into it, give you some ideas of what the judges are actually looking for in this division, okay? So basically, when we talk about men's physique right out the gate, first thing I want to say, you don't have to actually train your legs that much at all in men's physique. Most men's physique competitors, frankly, do not do legs really at all in their training program. You're wearing board shorts in this division, so you're wearing, the shorts that go from your hip all the way down to your knee, so you're not even showing your quads, you're not showing your hamstrings, you're not showing any of that stuff that we would see in the other male divisions like, classic and, of course, bodybuilding. You're not going to be showing that type of development there, so you don't really need to do that. And even down to that, the judges are not even looking at your calves really in this division, so a lot of less leg development overall. But this means by no means does that mean that same thing is going on upper body. Upper bodies are super developed in men's physique. It is down to a different aesthetic though. It is not like the mass monsters we see in male bodybuilding and even classic. It is more so this aesthetic type of V tapered look, okay? And that's really what the judges are looking at in all of their poses, this V taper, right? A men's physique front pose, it shows it. Wide shoulders tapering down to the waist. Back pose, wide shoulders tapering down to the waist. And so really what we're looking at in men's physique in general is this type of tapered look. You have to have really good development in a group of different muscles to get this look, and that's really the aesthetic of a men's physique competitor. You can almost think of a men's physique competitor as like a giant upside down triangle, right? From their legs, from their toes, where we're not training legs, building up more into their actual waist and then coming out into their shoulders. It'd be this triangular type shape, and that is the one that we want to see in this division. The judges want to see in this division, and they will see on the stage, in every pose and the comparisons and all that. That's what they're really scoring you on. So the first thing you got to look at as a men's physique competitor is how do you get this actual V-tapered shape down? How do you improve it? How do you continue to accentuate it? Well, first thing you want to look at to get the V-taper, you guys, it is going to be the shoulders, all right? You got to really look at the shoulder development and make sure you are building wider shoulders, because literally as you develop on the outer lateral head of your deltoid, right, you're going to actually widen your physique out. So the bigger you can get your shoulders, the wider it's going to make your body appear as it tapers down, right? So that's the first thing. And when we're looking at shoulders, we're talking about mainly compound exercises to start your sessions, doing some heavy stuff to really add the mass, and then to get this shape and the hypertrophy of it, you obviously want to come back and hit a lot of stuff to actually widen it out. So we're talking about front raises, a lot of different lateral raises. Like, you'll spend a lot of time doing lateral raises as a men's physique competitor. And then, of course, you got to focus on the rear deltoid too. So pretty much for your shoulders in men's physique, you need to have cannonball the size delts, big shoulders that are widening you out, and you got to focus on all three heads of the deltoid, the front, the lateral, and the rear head, because in every pose you're going to need it. You're going to need the rear head in your back pose, you're going to need the rear head in your side, transitions, you're going to need the front deltoids and the lateral heads in pretty much everything, but especially in the front pose. So really got to focus on some heavy compounds to get that development, and then chisel it down with specific isolation exercises. Another note real quick on the shoulders is they're showing in every pose you do, right? We're looking at some angle of the shoulder no matter what in every pose, every second you're on stage basically as a men's physique competitor. So it is very, very important that you get the right development here for this in this division, okay? The next thing that we're going to really talk about is going to be the lats. You got to have lats, because that is what really gives you the V taper taper look in general from even the front, but especially the back. And how you build the lats is you got to have really a nice wide taper down into your waist. You want to have full lats to connect all the way down. There's a lot of men's physique competitors that have very high lats and they don't have a lot of low lat, and that actually scores them down a lot of times. It works for some physiques, don't get me wrong. Some people actually get a better taper look that way, but for most, the best, most beneficial posing and, presentation you're going to get, having well-developed lats that sweep all the way down is going to be a huge factor in this division, okay? So when we're talking about building the lats, you got to do a number of things. You need the depth, but you also need the width. So you got to do specific exercises that are going to actually widen out the lats. A lot of close grip training. I know for years and years the old school adage was that if you did wide, you got wide. Well, a lot of the wide grip training has actually been shown now. They've looked at it, they've tested it, they've done it. It doesn't really show that actually widens you out really. The stuff that actually makes your lats project outward is going to be a lot of close grip stuff. So you want to have a myriad of things, but do a lot of close grip. Do some heavy T-bar rows, a bunch of different close grip cable rows, things like that, where you're going to really be widening out these lats. That's going to get you that taper to start. And you want to do stuff that focuses on each part of the lat. So you might be doing, some pull downs where you're really targeting the higher end of the lat, and then you might do, let's say some hyper extensions or some good mornings or things like that to draw the lower end in. Of course, there's so many variations, so many different things you can do to actually get this kind of aesthetic going, and it all really depends on the physique. But the one thing we can agree on no matter what is you got to have these lats in this division. You got to have well-developed lats that taper down into your waist, and that's why we're going to look next at the midsection actually being the next most important part.
1, 2, 3.
By the way, if anybody needs help, you just saw the slide right there. Go to my website. I'll set you up with men's physique workouts. I'll show you some custom workouts for you and your physique. This is something we offer. We do it for free. We only do it for people on the trial, and that's it. Otherwise, you're a paying client, So get in there, check it out. I'll show you guys exactly how to train for this division. TeamFFLEX.com. Subscribe in the box on the site. Next thing we want to look at is going to be the midsection. When we're talking about midsection, we're talking about really in men's physique, you got to have these three things for the most part. You got to have a small waist, so you got to draw in narrow, okay? So this is where I like to bring in a lot of vacuums and stuff for pretty much every competitor I ever coach for any division, but especially for men's physique. You got to be able to have this tight waist because, again, that illusion from, coming into the wide shoulders, into the lats, into the waist is what gets you this kind of V-tapered shape. So the more narrow you can get your waist, the more that illusion is going to look on stage, and that honestly is going to serve very, very well for this division. So vacuums, things like that draw it in, but really focusing on not doing stuff that widens out your waist. A lot of guys will do way too much stuff that actually, weighted sit-ups, weighted crunches, weighted this and that actually ends up widening out, because the more you hypertrophy these muscles, guys, guys, girls, whoever's watching, you're going to be widening out your physique, and with that, that's something that we don't want to see, because again, that's going to square you out versus give you the tapered look, okay? So you got to be really selective in the exercise that you do to actually get this aesthetic. So draw in the waist first, and then focus on things that are going to do rectus abdominis, your six-pack ab muscles, right, that come right down the middle. You got to really get these hard. You got to get these showing through. A lot of that's conditioning, but you want to have some hypertrophy there to really bring that through and kind of show that when you actually do get stage lean. Same with your obliques, but I would not suggest doing weighted stuff with these, you guys. I wouldn't suggest doing it unless it's like a cable crunch or something like that. You should stick your ab training to mainly body weight training. A lot of hanging leg raises are great. A lot of stuff like that to really target the six-pack and, draw in the waist, but not add width to it, not add a bunch of weighted exercises or twists or bends or, all these things that people have been doing in bodybuilding. Remember, this is men's physique. It is not the bodybuilding division. It's not classic. It's men's physique, and you got to get that tapered look here. So the more dramatic you can get the taper, the better, which means the better you can build your abs without actually widening out your waist, the better it's going to serve your overall aesthetic. And so that's why I would say, this is another really important part. Notice how everything we've said thus far is talking about this taper, and that is really what it is. So where does the chest actually come in, right? Because it's obviously a very important upper body muscle. It's going to give you some good girth and some width in your front pose, your transitions. You got to have it in there. And really in men's physique, we're talking about a lot of upper pec development. So you're doing a lot of different stuff to really get that kind of shelf and that full round shape coming out of the pectoral muscle up there. And basically what you guys can do, you know, it's pretty basic stuff, honestly. A lot of incline bench, incline flies, a lot of flat bench, a lot of flat flies, a lot of dips. I love giving men's physique guys dips because it just hits the full chest. Some guys need some decline work, and that depends on the physique, but I will say most people that I have doing men's physique, we're hitting the upper chest hard, and it really does pay off a lot because it gives you that shelf type look. It gives you the girth you need to show that you've worked it, you've connected it, and everything is coming together. You don't want to get on stage in men's physique and have any lagging upper body parts because, again, half of your body is basically not even being judged at that point. Board, shorts, all this, right? They're not looking at the legs. You got to make sure that everything upper body is really symmetrical. It all flows well. It all matches well. The developments are correct. In other words, you don't want to come up there, have massive shoulders like I talked about, no chest, right? Or massive shoulders like I talked about, no lats, right? And all those things, they really do take effect and they do matter. We can't leave out the fact you need to have solid arm development as well. In men's physique, you got to have the biceps, you got to have the triceps, you got to have some forearms that are going to show through and accentuate your physique, okay? Nobody wants to see a men's physique compare up there with a great taper, but, you know, shrimp little puny arms. It's not going to serve you well, right? And you are being scored on it, and they need to see that in your back pose, you need to see it in your front pose, and you see it in your transition. So you really got to make sure you're doing a lot of stuff that's going to get your arms well developed. Your arms actually have to be pretty comparable size to the rest of your upper body. Now, they're not going to be, you know, hulked out like I said in bodybuilding stuff. We see some of the biggest arms that have ever been on stage, but you definitely do want to be in a spot where it's accentuating your physique, it's complementing your physique, and that comes again from doing a lot of different compounds, barbell curls, you know, sometimes cheek curls, a lot of different close grip bench presses for the tricep and things like that. And forearms, you know, it's basic wrist curls, wrist twists, things like that. And what you want to do is really hit those areas hard with some compounds, heavier weights, come in, chisel it out after with some lighter isolation work. Again, stuff that's important to your physique. You want to make sure it draws all the way down to your elbow, your biceps full, your triceps full, and it's going to show in all these things, okay? And so really, that's the development of men's physique that really becomes the most important part of training. Now I want to touch for a second on the legs. All right, so the legs. I train a lot of men's physique guys. They all do very, very well when we compete, and I will tell you guys, I do have them do a little bit of calf work. I don't have them do a ton because, again, they're not scoring you on your calves. A lot of times, even if you have too much leg development, you can actually look like you belong in classic and you won't do well. But I do like to have a lot of my men's physique guys, depending on their physique, do some calf work. Not a lot, but a little bit, just to make sure, you know, I think that in general, a decent balance, it just looks better than having a guy up there with total twig legs, you know, which does happen in this division sometimes because, again, a lot of men's physique guys don't even do legs at all. I know a lot of them out there in the world, and they all don't, you know, a lot of them don't train legs. But if you're trying to get to a certain level, you know, you want to actually have a little bit of calf development, and I don't think it hurts too much depending on the show, depending on the level. But the point is, you know, having a little bit can actually make you look better sometimes. What you really got to look at with the leg training is just overall assessing your physique, seeing where you're at, seeing what's going to work best for you. Some people need more, some people need less. I've actually had, you know, people that have had to take on, they came down from, you know, classic and they want to do men's physique. We have to actually lose some leg muscle in order for them to do that. So really what you got to remember is every division, no matter what, but especially in men's physique, you got to fit the qualifications of the division, and you got to look at where your physique actually is, and then you got to make it fit it in the best way possible. So I hope you guys got something out of that. That's some basic tips. You know, basically in men's physique, we're looking at the taper, we're looking at the width, all that. Obviously for stage conditioning, you gotta actually diet, you gotta do all that, but there's no point to do any of that if you don't have the muscle base first. So really what you gotta always prioritize in this division is making sure you got enough muscle, and then making sure you don't burn it on a prep, and then coming into your prep, the right level of conditioning, and boom, you're ready to go, okay? So if you guys need more help with training for men's physique, like I said, I train a lot of men's physique guys, do very well. So go over to my website, TeamFFLEX.com. You can do our free coaching trial, show you guys exactly how to train for this division, some exercise. I'll give you some custom stuff for you and your physique even. And maybe, you know, you find out you belong better in classic, or maybe you need to come down, figure it out. I don't know. Either way, it's a great opportunity. The only people that actually get this coaching are actual true paying clients or people on this trial. So you can check that out, TeamFFLEX.com. I hope you do. I hope to see you on the other side, you guys. And please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, share out the video, because this is one of 5 awesome shows to run all week for you. I'm Milton from TeamFFLEX. Thanks for watching. Coach Rye is out.